Good evening to one all present over here. I welcome you all to PRAGNAVARIDHI lecture series conducted for second year BAMS students. Before that, I would like to give you a small introduction on Panchajanya. Panchajanya, the divine conch of Bhagwan Sri Krishna, which was blown during the Kurukshetra, indicating the start of the Dharma Yuddha that followed. There, all the efforts were done for the establishment of Dharma. Dharma was kept over personal relations and motives. Keeping the same motive in mind, our organization will work towards establishing the importance and necessity of following and imbibing Bharatiya culture, accepting our roots, and making people realize the true essence of Ayurveda, not only as a treatment modality, but also as a way of life. All these while walking in the path of Dharma. Hence the motto Shreyam Bharatiyam Arogyam Ayurvediyam. With this aim in mind, I would like to welcome you all to Pragnavaridi lecture series conducted for second year students. Today we have with us Vaidya.ROOPA KV. She is currently working as a professor in the Department of Roga Nidana in Sri Sri Ayurvedic Medical College, Bangalore. She has completed UG from GAMC Mysore with the second rank and MD in Roga Nidana from GAMC Bengaluru. She has done her dissertation work in MD, a critical study on the role of Virechana in the Samprapti Vigatana of Ashrigdhara with special reference to DUB. She has been awarded Ayur Visharada Award by Himalaya Drug Company. She has published in articles in various magazines. She is guiding students research products under Spark. Over to you, ma'am.
Sai Prabha, and thank you for Panchajanya to giving an opportunity to give a lecture series of yours, continuous lecture series regarding Roga Nidana subject. So I hope my voice is clear. Shall I start?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
today
ma'am.
we are going to start with a topic, small topic from paper one, Astanindhitha Purusha, which is in 17th point, and Janapadodwamsa vikara, and 18th point, which is from Roganidana, paper one. So, firstly, these two topics, though both topics, whichever has been selected for today's series of guest lecture, for here, I want to tell you from in like regarding the NCSM exam related points, like this two topics comes under DK, that is desirable to know, and from MCQ it is having only 1 point will be like 1 mark will be given from both the questions, and from law is 5 marks there will be only one question, and there is no 10 marks question. So I want to clear you that this is, since it is a topic from DK, that is desirable to know, there will be no 10 marks question from this topic, and you will get chances of one MCQ from this topic. So I have started what are the learning based on how we have been framed from under NCSM topics. Under NCSM, they have given that the learning outcome for these topics like Astanindhitha and Janapadodwamsa, they have clearly mentioned these are the learning outcomes from these topics. So start with thing like we'll start with Astanindhitha. Here, these are the possible questions from the topic after analyzing all the things like learning outcome and all, we can expect these two questions for 5 marks to the maximum. So enlist and explain Ashtanindita, describe the importance of Ashtanindita, correlate and describe the features of hormonal or endocrine diseases with Ashtanindita. These are the possible questions from Ashtanindita topic for 5 marks. And coming to the MCQs, since in all of you know from this, say this is the second batch of NCSM with this same syllabus. So with this, we'll be getting out of 11 points, 11 topics from NCSM DK, that is desirable to know topics. You have only one MCQ, three MCQs from all these DKs, like is desirable to know topics. You have only three MCQs. The remaining all the 17 MCQs will be from MK, that is must to know topics. Since you can expect one question from any of the three questions from these topics, 11 topics, and possibilities of having a MCQ from Ashtanindhita and Janapadodwamsa will be there. Like we have about like minimum 30% chances are there that we may get one MCQ from Astanindhitha and one MCQ from Janapadodwamsa. Considering all those things, I've framed few MCQs which may be helpful for you for your exam. Since it is a DK topic, you just go through these topics. I think these MCQs and the questions, I think it is more than enough for you. And coming to the MCQs, these may be the MCQs, like the primary purpose of identifying Astanindhitha Purusha in Ayurveda. So these are the options: to prescribe medication, to diagnose the underlying health issues, to perform surgeries, to provide dietary advice. I think if I complete the topic, you'll come to know what is the answer for this and from which chapter of Charaka Samhita the discussion of Astanindhitha is been done. And next, Astanindhitha Purusha is primarily concerned with these type of, like, what type of disorders, like mental health disorders, physical deformities, infectious diseases, genetic disorders. And which of the following is a common characteristic of Astanindhitha Purusha? And these are the choices, like high intelligence, physical deformities, emotional stability, athletic ability. So after completing the topic, I think you can answer, all of you can answer this. And this is just for your example. This may be the possibilities for your final exams. And since you have only the 5 mark question from this topic, then just before going for 5 marks or 10 marks, whatever the topic, whatever, however the pattern it is, and you have only 10 marks and 5 marks questions for your exams. And for writing a 5 mark, how you have to start, what we expect as an examiner, what we expect from the students. Usually in a 5 mark question, usually the same thing is there for 10 marks also. For 5 marks, we expect the introduction part of a question. For any question is given, we expect an introduction. The introduction may be in a form of shloka. You can write a shloka and start the introduction relating to that topic, or else you can write from which topic, from which sthana or which samhita this topic is been elaborated, like that you can start with 1 or 2 lines of introduction. And in the body, we expect the question, whatever the question is being asked for you, we expect the answer beginning from the body only. Not like if whatever question is asked, you can't write something else. And only if Ashta Nindita Purusha is been asked, you can't write what are Ashta, what is the meaning of Ashta, like that. We have seen the students writing not with answers which are not related at all. So we expect the answer from body itself. Since it is for 5 marks, just give an introduction part for this question and start with the body and finally conclude. This is these things should be there. Conclusion can be a, like any usefulness or importance, and finally you have to conclude in with 2 or 3 lines. Okay, like I think we'll start with Ashtanindhita Purusha according to the questions. And Ashtanindhita Purusha has been explained in Charaka Samhita Sutrasthana 21st chapter, the third shloka itself. And here, why they are called as nindita, I have not gone into detail, because what been asked for your final exams and the question how it is, according to that I have framed this topic. This distinguished group is made because of the Sharira Beda. Based on their Sharira Beda, this classification has been made, and generally they are identified as socially unacceptable. That is the reason they are called as, termed as Nindita. So based on their, these people are being distinguished based on the Sharira Beda. So only they are identified as socially unacceptable because of the differentiation in the Sharira. That's what they are called as Nindita. I thought, like I think you got my point. So whenever they ask you in the introduction part, you can write, this has been explained in Charaka Samhita Sutrasthana 21st chapter, and these Ashta Nindita Purushas has been they have been identified as socially unacceptable or nindita, be based on their Sharira Beda. Like this 1 or 2 lines, if you start, then that will be an introduction for Ashtanindhita. Then you have to come to the, since the question is this one, like enlist and explain the Ashtanindhita, describe the importance of Ashtanindhita. This is the question. So for that question, so you start with an introduction part from where it has been explained and all, why they are Nindita. Next, go to the enlistment, like how you enlist the types of, not types, it is mentioning of all 8 nindita people. That is Ati Dirga, Ati Rasva, Ati Loma, Aloma, Ati Krishna, Ati Gaura, Ati Stula, Ati Krisha. I think with these words you can easily tell what it is. Ati Dirga is what, since you are all second phase students, you will be knowing each word, I think. Ati Dirga, Ati Rasva, Ati Loma, Aloma, Ati Krishna, Ati Gaura, Ati Stula, Ati Krishna. If you know the first one, Ati Dirgha, you can easily write Ati Rasva. Ati Loma is Aloma, you can easily write Ati Krishna. Then you know that you have to write the opposite of that, Ati Gaura, Ati Stula, Ati Krishna. So Ati Krisha. So Stula and Krisha has been elaborately explained in Charaka Samhita, and these two you will study in detail in Medavaha Sroto Vikara, in obesity, and all these disorders are there. There you study in elaborately. So when you are being asked to enlist, you need to write only the names of these things, because the question is asking you to enlist the names. The next point of this question is you have already enlisted the types. Next point of this is you have to write import the see. When you enlisted that, you have given the introduction and you have mentioned the names of 8. That's enough. Then you have done that part work and explain the Astanindhitha. So you are explaining each one. When you start explaining each one means you have to just write what it is. Means Ati Krisha is what. Ati, that is enough to just write what is it. And then next, the second point of this question will be describe the importance of Astanindhitha. So what is the importance of Astanindhitha? Okay. So, what is the importance of Ati? So, when they have asked in explanation of these each one, like Ati Dirga, Ati Vrasva, Ati Gaurava, Ati Krishna, you have to write what it is, each one. Then, finally, you can conclude with the importance of Ashtanindita Purusha. First, you have to write the introduction point, you have to enlist them, and you have to write what it is, and that will be end of like 2.5, 3 marks will be ended. And the finally, you have to write the importance of Ashtanindita. So, why the Ashtanindita Purusha are important in a clinical practice? Why it is important for us to know why these people are Nindita. So Nindita is not like that we are doing some Nindana, or like they are like we should not treat and all. So Nindita means they are different from the other people. Whoever we consider it as normal or according to ours, so according to our calculation and all, these type of people with this much of height, this much of weight, we have said, we'll tell that these people are not like normal because they are not in that average height or weight and all. So based on that, so why we call them Nindita is, you already know. Now, what is the importance of these type of people in treatment practice? Like, what is the use of these people? Knowing these type of people are Nindita. So, how does it will be useful for your treatment or your in your practice? First of all, first point when they ask you regarding the importance of Nindita is diagnosis aspect. In order to know the diagnosis and prognosis, we have to know why we have, in order to diagnose this means, in if a person is very short and is having some problems like any problem in the joints or some other problem, so finally when we are diagnosing, we have to consider his weight or height, everything, because they are basically the person is very short when compared to the normal height. So knowing all these things, it will be very easy if you know that the person comes under this line. So we have to diagnose this person in a different way. This diagnosis will be different, and coming to the prognosis also. So we can't expect the prognosis or sadhya sadhyata of the person similar to the other people. So in order to it helps in the diagnosis and prognosis, as well as dosage fixing. So dosage will not be similar to other people, like how we fix a dose based on the height and weight and many other parameters. This will not be suitable for fixing for these type of people. So in fixing, the dosage will not be same for how we give to the other patients and the Nindita people. So identifying the Nindita people is very important in order to fixing the dosage. And whenever customized treatment, so when we know that the person comes under this group, so we can plan the treatment according to them. like that is customized treatment. Like we can plan the dosage, the time, the duration, everything based on the person's we can plan according to the person, each individual or the person or the afflicted person. We can plan, and individualized treatment can be given. And further, it will be helpful to research and education also. It will be helpful when we start the treatment and we get a better results according to this, when we plan according to this. And it will be helpful for further research as well as education also. So these are the importance of Astanindhitha Purusha. Whenever the question is being asked, like what are enlist and explain the Astanindhitha and describe the importance of Astanindhitha. So this is the one which we can expect. Like you have to write the introduction part and enlist all these eight types, and finally explain the importance of Astanindhitha Purusha in treatment. So if you write all these things, finally you can end the question for 5 marks. Since they've asked for 5 marks only this much, you can stop here itself. So whenever the other part of the question, like correlate and describe the features of hormonal endocrinal diseases with Astanindha. This is the possible question from this topic. Like they can ask you, you correlate these and describe the features of hormonal or endocrinal diseases with Astanindha. You need to write first introduction part. Introduction part is related with Astanindhitha. This has been explained as we discussed for the other question. You can write 1 or 2 lines from Astanindhitha, that where it has been taken, and how you can correlate this Astanindhitha with the hormonal or endocrinal diseases. How you can correlate the Astanindhitha people, which has been said in our mentioned in our Ayurveda, to the present. So when you are, since they've asked correlate and describe the features, so you need to write Ashtan introduction part, and next start with mentioning each each type, each out of 8 you can write, start with an introduction, then start with, like usually we compare the imbalances of hormone levels leading to various physical and physiological changes with Astanindhitha, and this is how we can correlate them with the modern parameters. Like for example, Ati Dirga, the and with we can correlate with gigantism, and many other kinds like acromegaly, wherein the body muscle, like increased size of hands, feet, and many things will be there, and there will be abnormal growth of bones and tissues will be there. And even you can compare with the gigantism, wherein GH growth hormone will be abruptly increased, or excessive growth hormones and all. So these hormonal imbalance can be compared with the Ati Dirga, which is said to be excessively dirgham, means the person's height will be excessively increased than the normal. So this can be compared with this hormonal imbalance, that growth hormone we can compare with growth hormones abnormality. And next is Hati Raswa, that is Hati Raswa. You already know it as Hati Raswa is very short or dwarf. So this can be compared with the growth hormone deficiency, which is leading to stunted growth. So this can be compared with the dwarfism. Since they have not asked for the mentioning of enlisting, you need to write all the 8 and with the comparison of the modern hormonal imbalances. Then Hati Raswa we can compare with the growth hormone deficiency, which leads to dwarfism or stunted growth. Next one is Ati Gaurava. So this is not directly related to the hormonal imbalance, but it can be linked to genetic conditions which are usually affecting the melanin production. So this albinism can be compared, one of the thing which can compare with the Ati Gaurava. So some of the things like even leprosy has been considered under Ati Gaurava and all, but we can't take directly the leprosy for here because hormonal conditions it is. So melanin production imbalance, which is related to the genetic condition, we can compare with Ati Gaurava. So this can be albinism, can be, we can give an example of this, which is linked with the genetic conditions. Even the thyroid impairment, hypothyroidism also, we can see the white patches, we call it as leukodema and all. Even that also, it is not a permanent one, but temporarily you can compare with Ati Gaurava also. But very precisely we can compare with albinism. Next, Ati Krishna, that is hyperpigmentation, And here you can compare with the hormonal imbalance which affecting melanin production. That is, we can give an example of Addison's disease. And in Ayurveda, we can have in Arishta Lakshanas also. There are different, like they have mentioned about Prakrita Varna, Vikrita Varna, all this thing. There also Ati Krishnata has been explained there, wherein you can give an example there. That is said to be an Arishta Lakshana. This is nothing but a imbalance of the hormones. So Ati Krishna, since the question is asked and we have to correlate with the hormonal levels or imbalance, we need to write one of the example like Addison's disease. You can, if you give an example for that, it's enough for explanation. Next is Atiloma. Atiloma can be compared with the hirsutism. You already know in PCOD and PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome and all, where there is an excessive growth of hair in women can be compared to athiloma, where it is because of excess androgens that can be compared with athiloma. And next, aloma, this can be compared with the hormonal imbalance where there are no hairs at all because of thyroid disorders. In Graves condition, in Graves disorders and all, we can compare with this the aloma, wherein and one more is alopecia universalis, wherein no hairs will be there all over the body. That can be compared. That is also because of some of the hormonal imbalances, especially thyroid and all, can be compared. And especially some other infections also we can compare. But here, since they've asked about hormones, we can compare with alopecia, aloma, which is android related, many other things which are related to the hormonal imbalance. Atikrisha, Atikrisha is over like becoming a very lean person. Here, that we can compare with the hormonal imbalance which are affecting appetite and metabolism, wherein you can see the alterations in adipokinin and the imbalances in HPO axis, that in a hypothalamus, pituitary ovarian axis, etc. In case of anorexia nervosa, these conditions you can see the hormonal imbalance. So Atikrisha can be compared to these conditions, anorexia nervosa, and these adipokinin imbalance, HPO axis imbalance. This can lead to atikrisha. So an stula, and it is related to the hormonal imbalance like insulin resistance in diabetes or cortisol excess in Cushing syndrome can be compared to the stula. So overall, in each all these 8 varieties of Astanindhitha, you can directly compare with the hormonal imbalance. That's what the question is asking. That you need to correlate the Astanindhitha Purusha with hormonal imbalance. So all these one example you can write, since it is an 5 marks question and you need to write all this 8. Definitely they will give you 2 marks, and you are comparing each one with some hormonal imbalance with one disease example. Then that is a thing which they can expect. And finally, you need to conclude, just these correlations highlight how hormonal or endocrinal diseases can manifest in physical characteristics that align with the Astanindhita descriptions. So, how these are aligned with the Astanindhita description of our Ayurveda. This will give an importance of understanding and addressing hormonal imbalance for overall health and well-being. So, after knowing all these things, whenever these condition, we can easily know yes, some imbalance is there or not, whether we can correct or not. So it will help us in treatment aspect. I think for in Ashtanindita topic, so we can expect only the two possible questions based on the learning outcome. One is enlist and explain the Ashtanindita, and you have to write the importance of Ashtanindita. Next is you have to correlate the different features of hormonal or endocrinal diseases with Ashtanindita. I think I have informed, like presented how you can write the introduction and the body and the conclusion for both of them. So if it cannot be asked for 10 marks, since it is only the 5 marks possibility question. So you need to not to write all the things clubbed together, all 8 points with the modern parlance. See the question, what it is been asking, whether they are asking for the correlation, you need to correlate. If they are asking the importance of Ashtanindhita, you need to write the importance. So what the question is asking, based on that, you can answer. I think I've cleared the first point of the topic. I think shall I move for the next one? Okay, I'll go for the next topic, that is Janapadodwamsa. So the possible questions, since it is a DK, that is reservable to no topic. So you'll be getting one MC possibility of getting one MCQ from this topic and one 5 marks question. So based on this, so I have framed a few questions, possible MCQs. Which chapter of the Charaka Samhita discusses Janapadodwamsa Vikara? It is Vimanasthana. Yes, what does Janapada mean in the context Janapadodwamsa Vikara? That is individual or community disease treatment. So that will be a community will be the answer. And next, which of the following factors is not considered as a cause of Janapadodwamsa Vikara according to Ayurveda? So genetic disorders only. The answer is, what is the primary cause of Janapadodwamsa Vikara as per Ayurveda? That is environmental factors. Which of the following is the preventive measure for Janapadodwamsa Vikara? So this is a very important question which has been asked. I have took this question. So regular exercise, proper collection and preservation of herbs, genetic testing, surgical intervention. For this, the answer is proper collection and preservation of herbs. Why it is? The answer is we need to prevention of Janapadodwamsa is more important in our science. So this is the answer for this. So coming to the 5 marks question, the possible question of this from this topic is only this. Since the learning outcome they've asked only this, and the possible 5 marks question can be framed only based on this. Describe Sadharana and Asadharana Hetu for Janapada Dvamsa Vikara and correlate with contemporary etiologies. This is a possible 5 marks question. For this, you can give an introduction based on the question. The question is Sadharana, since they've asked, if they ask you what is Janapadodwamsa and describe the Sadharana, Asadharana Hetu and correlate with contemporary etiologies, see the question, what they've asked, what is the sequence of the question. Based on that, you can answer the question. So, first of all, you need to write what is Janapadodwamsa. Give one definition of this. What is Janapadodwamsa first before starting? So you can write what is Janapada Dvamsa. Janapada is a community or a people group of people. So it's one of the unique concept which is described in Ayurveda Samhita, which literally means demolition or annihilation of people or community. Janapada Dvamsa, that is a destruction, complete demolition of a group or community of people. So here, this one I have highlighted, Maraka, Janamara I have highlighted. Why? Because this Maraka is one of the question in PG entrance. They've asked in one of the PG entrance saying that according to Shushruta, who has mentioned for Janapadodwamsa a name as Maraka. So you need to remember this. That's what I have highlighted this. Maraka according to Shushruta, Janamara according to Bela. So that's become it is impossible. That's what I have highlighted this topic, this lines. Maraka is according to Shushruta and Belas called it as Janamara. So coming to the Nidana, so coming to the Janapadodwamsa topic, so you have the main Nidana for causing destruction of Janapada or community of people as the main root is said to be Adharma. So the Adharma, the root cause of Adharma is Pragnaparada. When we see in our Samhitas, the main reason for Janapadodwamsa is Pragnaparada. That Pragnaparada is leading for Adharma, then Adharma is leading all these factors. So that is a main cause. But here, since they've asked the what are the Sadharana and Asadharana Hetu, so we only focus on what are the Sadharana Hetu and Asadharana Hetu for Janapadodwamsa. So here the adharma, which is the main root cause of Janapadodwamsa, we can correlate with the normal, like whatever the lifestyle which we follow, whatever we are doing normal, what is normal to the people, which is not causing any problem to the others, and which is said to be right according to us. That is said to be a dharma. Dharma is not like with some religion, what is right and what is best for the people, what is not causing some problem to others. That is said to be dharma. So this we don't follow the right thing, or which is not called. We are not worrying about the others. If I have done something like I have a company or an industry, I have waste every day. I'll be having so much of waste which is harmful for the water. If I am not purifying it, simply not following the simply throwing all these waste or all the waste into the water, then finally I'm not following the dharma or the right thing. And I know that after leaving all this waste and all to the water, it will cause many problems to the people. First, it causes the harm to the animals or the things which are there already in the water, like for example some small plants, some small animals, aquatic animals, all these things, it will be hampered. Then later on it can cause the problem for the groundwater, and the people who consume that water or whatever they use the water for different purposes. So this becomes adharma. So don't consider adharma, dharma as only the religion part. So it is entirely the right one. What is right is said to be dharma. So the causes of Janapadodwamsa, when they have asked this causes, Sadharana Hetu and Asadharana Hetu, so we can classify into two types. These one of which are common and one is a specific cause. So all of you know Sadharana Hetu, the common causes are nothing but the Vayu, Jala, Desha, Kala. These are the four main causes which are said to be the Sadharana Hetu, which are under control, which we have some control over here. Like we can do something changes, some changes in our hand by following the right dharma. So for example, the Vayu, and so which can be the environmental pollution and airborne diseases, and Jala is the contaminated water leading to the Jala Dushita, that is contaminated water leading to waterborne diseases. Desha, poor sanitation and living conditions. Kala is the seasonal changes and climatic conditions which is affecting the health. All your global warming, all these things we can compare with the Kala. So these are termed as common causes or sadharana hetu. And asadharana hetu, why they are asadharana? They are not in our hand, but some of them are in hand, but they are asadharana. They like very specifically they have been mentioned, and they are said to be asadharana. These can be individual specific factors which we can compare with the genetic predispositions, personal habits, and unique environmental exposures that can lead to diseases. The concept of communicable, and all of you know this concept of communicable diseases that has been elaborated in the roof of Janapadodwamsa by Acharya Charaka, Upasargika Roga, and all these things can be the causes, asadharana hetu. So this one by one you can write. We can mention like one or two for asadharana hetu, that is genetic predispositions. We can't have, we don't have much role, but personal habits we have a role, but sometimes because of the personal habits, how genetic mutation takes place in the future generation of the people. One person having lot of cigarettes and all when he was young, and he will be having whole life, how it has mutated and it goes to the next generation. These plays an important role in asadharana hetu. And unique environmental exposures that can lead to diseases and different, like you know the example of Japan and all, Hiroshima, Nagasaki and all. You can give an example for this. You can take an example of this, and these can be considered as asadharana hetu. And how you correlate with the contemporary etiology? Definitely all your, it will be very easy when you are writing the, when you know the sadharana asadharana hetu, you can compare with the modern, let us say how the air pollution has been caused, how water contamination can occur, and poor sanitation, all these things, how the waste management has been taken place in the desha, and seasonal, like how the seasonal changes, how the which is this climatic changes which can be compared with the kala dushita. So understanding these correlation with the modern aspect will help us to adopt a preventive measures, and it will be helpful for creating public health strategies that can be aligned with both traditional wisdom and modern science. So both can be clubbed together to overall to help the society. So we can plan a preventive measures by understanding clearly the concepts of Janapadodwamsa. And finally, you can give a conclusion by just all of you are very similar to, like you're very like very familiar with the COVID-19, how it has affected the whole country, not only whole country, whole world. So how those time, how Ayurveda has been like so much effective in treating COVID and all. So what you can conclude is, so Ayurveda have given a very clear and detailed explanation of Janapadodwamsa. So how it breaks out by not following the proper regime or proper dharma. So how the whole COVID has destructed whole community in the world, how it has caused Janapadodhwamsa in the whole as a picture. So following the rules and regulations for healthy life is the ultimate solution in order to keep the harmony between the human and the nature, which is already we all of us know because of this incident. And how the management principles, which highlights following dharma along with daily regimens and the panchakarma to tackle the infections affecting one's health. Therefore, it's need of the hour to get back to the principle of ancient science and have a healthy way of living life. So you can conclude this question by just telling what is the importance of Janapada, knowing the knowledge of Janapadodhwamsa. This is how, this is the maximum thing which you can understand from your, like, what are the sadharana and asadharana hetu, and you need to explain, correlate, or correlate with contemporary. You need to write what are the different things which we can correlate with this sadharana and asadharana, and finally you can conclude the question. I think this, since it is a very small topic which I've been given, and it's not you need to read hours together. It's a very small topics, both Astanindhitha and Janapadodwamsa. And the best part is, just you go through this. That's all. You need no need to revise the topics for your exams, and even for your fresher, whoever the students who are going for the, like, who are the fresher second year juniors also, just keep it in mind, since this topic is from DK, and you can easily get more marks from this, just knowing some concept and how to write in the exams, how to frame the questions for your, how to frame the answer for 5 marks. Since the possibility is only the 5 marks, it's very easy to write for the final exams. So I'll conclude the topics by just telling you the Astanindhitha and Janapadodwamsa. It's a very small topic, and you can get only the possibility of getting only the 5 marks questions and one MCQ possibility. Go through this topic, which if I can share you the PPT with you, just at the last moment also, like during exams also, if you go through that, definitely you can gain the marks. Regarding any doubt, you can ask me now. Any doubt?
No, mom.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Yes, mom.
Any doubt from the students?
No, mom.
No.
At this
Okay.
point, we haven't got any doubts. If they have asked any doubts, I would surely let you know.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, mom, for this very
Thank you.
crisp and
Thank you, dear. Thank you, Sai Prabha, and thank you, Panchajanya, for giving me that opportunity. And I
thank
want to
you.
thank my student, Shrikar, who has informed me regarding this. Okay, dear.
Yes, mom.
Sai
Thank you,
Prabha.
mom. Thank you, mom. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Okay.